Good morning, ladles, jelly spoons, and all other non-binary kitchen utensils. I am your host, Hova.
I'm Franklin.
I'm Andrew. What podcast is this?
This is the Gravy Wheels podcast.
There we go.
What an intro. That was a great intro.
It's good. You had all the oomph, just not quite all the.
Just
words.
not the just the script was a little off. I tried. I think that's all that matters for the most part.
You did. Yeah, I mean, we're really focused on effort here.
Yeah.
Gravy Wheels Inc.
Yeah, or just in our lives in general.
Yeah.
All individually. It's all about effort.
Speaking of effort, what have you exerted yourself on this week? What were you? Nope.
What? No. What have we been doing? What have we been up to?
Yeah, what have you been up to? My brain just shut off for a minute. Sorry, I had a really big burrito before we started recording.
Hell yeah. No, those are coma inducing, I know. I had a pretty fun week. I realized that it was the last week before my kids start school again, and which is kind of weird because I feel like that's not the same for a lot of kids. I mean, obviously it's different all over the place, but we always started school pretty early. It was usually like the 23rd, 24th, or 25th of August.
Very memorable day for you.
Yeah. Very close to my birthday, yeah. So, and my brother's as well. But anyway, so since I realized that, I was like, man, we got to have one last hurrah, something fun for my boys to do. I have 5 and a 7-year-old for the listeners that don't know that. And, but it's been crazy this year, I was like, well, what can you really do,
Yeah.
And even now, that was one of the things I was going to bring up with you guys is I don't even know what you, quarantine guilt. I don't know. I went to Silver Dollar City. For the listeners that don't know, it's a theme park in Branson, Missouri that is basically, any other theme park. It's just a bunch of roller coasters and water rides and all kinds of cool stuff. But it's it's kind of like take Westworld, throw it in the middle of the woods, just in a forest, and add roller coasters and other, various theme park attractions. And that's what Silver Dollar City is. It's really, really cool. So they were enforcing the whole 9 yards. You couldn't get in without a mask. They screened every guest before we were allowed in. They took our temperature, and they only gave you a wristband. If you had to answer yes or no to 4 questions, there was big boards, and it was all have you had a cough, scratchy throat, any of that stuff, contact with anybody. And then they took your temperature, and if you cleared all that, you get a wristband to get in the park. And then once you're in, every ride was some of them were a little more lax than others, but most of them were we know that the masks are annoying, but please leave your mask on at all times, on the ride even. Before you get on, they would stop you and squirt hand sanitizer in every single passenger's hands, and so you'd have to sanitize your hands. And then after you get out, they would spray sanitize every train car or whatever. You could only sit in every other one. If you were with each other, if we told them, there's 6 of us, they'd let you sit together if there was enough room, because it's your family. So,
Yeah.
And the lines had the 6-foot separation and everything. But I couldn't help feeling like I was one of those people, you see the pictures of just a packed beach or, whatever it may be, insert whatever here, and people just groaning about it on social media, this is why we can't do anything because people can't stay home, and it's we were practicing all the safety regulations while we were there, but I couldn't help feeling like I was part of the problem,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, there's only so much that you can do, and as long as you try to follow those and the company is cleaning to their best of their abilities, well, I mean, life's going to go on. I mean, some of it's a little stupid where people go into these huge house parties and this and that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With people that you have no goddamn idea where they're from and, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Micro Center today, and they had somebody screening at the entrance. They were like, okay, look at these questions. Did you da-da-da-da-da? And, they sprayed us with hand sanitizer, mandatory masks, the whole bullshit. So it's
Right.
things are just going to go on, and we are doing our best to cope with it, figure out how well we can handle it.
It's weird, man. I was when we were walking around, I was trying to explain to my son, my 7-year-old, the 5-year-old, you can try all you want, but he doesn't really get it yet. I was trying to explain to my 7-year-old, like I was like, buddy, I'm over 30 years old. I've been here many, many, many times, and this is the first time I've ever been here that you have to worry about these things. Like he didn't understand that, and it was a crazy thought for me. Like, is this just going to be the new standard? Like, I hope not. But to him, he's going to grow up maybe not even necessarily thinking it's weird. To where I'm like, my mind's blown that everybody in the park is wearing a mask, and you can only do certain stuff, and everything's obviously super restricted and regulated. It's just it's such a weird time.
So other than that, fucking Silver Dollar City is one of my favorite theme parks.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
I've been there so many times. Me and one of my exes, we had season passes. Like every year we were together, so it was like either like 3 years or 4 years we had season passes, I think. And we would literally whenever they were open, we would go at least once a month.
Damn.
And then her mom had these mugs back from like whenever her mom was like a teenager and got them.
The refill cups?
Yes, but they were like glass ones, and they were fancy, nice ones from way back in the day. And then because you pay like 27 cents or whatever a drink cost, a refill cost, that year is what you paid. So
that's crazy. Like, guess what it is in 2020? Because I could tell you. Not quite, but it's so the mugs were $16, and then fountain drinks were $1.70 something, I think. For a refill, $1.70, which is still crazy. I mean, better than $16. And then it said specialty drinks, so I don't even know maybe like frozen drinks, I would guess. Those were, I think they were like $3. So.
I never went to Silver Dollar City. Never went to Branson as a kid.
It's a shame, dude. It's a good one.
I got cheated a little bit, I feel like. Yeah, but like I also grew up right by Worlds of Fun, like really close to it.
Yeah.
So that was basically the only theme park that I knew of. I mean, every once in a while, a couple times we went to Six Flags out in St. Louis, but that's about it. Yeah.
I think I went once, and I wasn't very impressed with Six Flags. For me, it was always either Silver Dollar City or Worlds of Fun.
Six Flags has a couple good ones, but it's mostly sort of meh.
Right.
Oh, I can't tell that story. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can, and I will. We have a friend from elementary school. My dad would always get like these free passes to go to Worlds of Fun, and sometimes we would take people. We'd get like an extra ticket. So we took a buddy once. I don't know, Joey. Did you ever go with me?
I went once. Yep. I remember being terrified of just being in a vehicle with your father for the 2-hour trip to Kansas City. Like, I was so scared, dude. Dude, no, come on. As like a 12-year-old kid that it's not your dad, he's terrifying.
And we were like 5 minutes out the gate. Like, we were there. And one of our buddies from elementary and high school, like, he had to pee so bad. He couldn't hold it in. He couldn't hold it in. So he had to pee in one of my dad's, like his empty coffee cup from the drive up there, like while we're all in the car, and we had to like smell it. I laughed so hard I cried.
I don't remember who that was, but I remember the story. You'll have to tell me afterwards.
But Silver Dollar City, if people have never been, it's like a throwback to like Frontier Days kind of deal. That's pretty cool.
There's lots of shopping and stuff, and then there's also like I'm trying to think of what would be comparable. Like, I was gonna say like a Renaissance festival, but there's probably a lot of people that don't know what that is either. There's like actors that are walking around in the era specific costumes, and they'll just you'll just be walking like to the next ride, and next thing you know, there's like an argument in front of the saloon about one of the dance girls or something, and there's like they'll whip out their pistols and there'll be a gunfight, and it's really crazy stuff like that, which I was kind of bummed because there was a lot. I didn't see any of that. I mean, there was still all the shop owners and stuff. They're still dressed up in their era specific costumes and stuff like that, but they have masks on, and there was no like random theatrical moments in the streets like I remember from whenever I was a kid. So it's kind Yeah, it's kind of sad to see. But also, there's a new water ride. You remember the river ride, Frank? The Rapids one?
Yeah.
So that's still there, but they like renamed it and they added this massive tower. I guess it's like the tallest round raft plunge in the States now or something. They were saying some fact about it, I don't remember, but it's still fairly new, I guess. And both times we were walking to it first thing during the day to get in line, and I heard them announce that the ride was having technical difficulties. They closed. Everybody came out. We came back a few hours later, got in line, like we're walking to the back of the line, and again they closed it down. So both times we tried to get in line, they closed it. So I was really excited for it and didn't get to try it.
That's very common at Silver Dollar City. Like, I don't think I've ever been to an amusement park where they shut them down so much.
Like Fire in the Hole is always closed.
They constantly check. They constantly.
I think it's a good thing though, yeah, because I mean, I would rather it be that than just sketchy. Like, we went to, maybe it's just my family's luck. We went to Slitterbond before the kid got decapitated, and went with my whole family, and they had just built. It was like one stairwell, but once you got to the top, I think there was 3 different slides, and it was like intermediate, you know, a little bit crazier, and then like shit your pants. And we all went down, and my mom was coming down last, and it was so like rough when she got to the bottom. She like, I think it was one where you lay on a mat, you know, you have like one of those little foam mats and you lay on top. It was so rough because they were still dialing it in. That's what the park people actually told us after this happened. She hit her face on the bottom of the slide when she got to the bottom, and like busted her face up, and she was bleeding everywhere. They had to take her to the med tent and everything and like fix her up, and that's literally what they said. The management was like, yeah, we're still dialing that one in, and they just left it on, and people were still coming down. We were like, what? It was insane. And then a couple of years later, a kid literally gets decapitated on the one big ride. So yeah, it kind of shows, you know, what was going on at that park.
Yeah, that's not so good. I remember the stories of the girl dying at Worlds of Fun on the Timberwolf when I was a kid.
I remember that one too.
That was like a big deal.
That's the wooden coaster, right?
Yeah, but that was like, I don't know. I feel like she got blamed for that one. Pretty hard.
I was gonna say what happened, because like the Slitterbond thing, that was like 100% park error.
Yeah,
you know, that was on them, but I don't remember what happened with the Timberwolf girl.
The story I recall was that she was trying to trade seats with a friend.
No,
like in the same cart. Yeah,
while it was going, or like as it was taking off?
While it was going. I don't know if it was like they were trying to do it as it was like going up the hill, and then they didn't get it in time, and I don't know exactly the story, but that was always what I heard.
Darwinism. I hate to say it, but if that's the case.
So
Frank's like, I'm watching the video right now. Seems like
well, it's from '95, so it's a shaky camcorder. No, they said that one of her friends said that the safety restraints had came loose and came off. And then park officials like confirmed that everything was in place at the beginning of the ride. And
okay, I think
I don't even want to talk about this.
Normally, I might call BS on that, but I had an experience on one of the flying dueling dragons at Universal Studios, I think. I don't know if you guys remember those. It might not be Universal. It's one of the Florida parks. I was on one of the dueling dragon rides, and you know, my restraints didn't like completely fail or anything, but you know how when they pull them down, it's like click, 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 and depending on how fat you are is how much it closes. And I'm one of the roller coaster riders that I like to have my hands up the whole time and just enjoy it. And I was going through one of the upside down loop-de-loops, and that seat clicked up a setting. And I've never been more scared in my life, dude. You could imagine the rest of the ride. I'm just like, Mother of God, make it, you know, like, just let's get to the end of this thing. It was terrifying. The worst feeling ever.
On that Batman ride at Six Flags St. Louis, you know the one I'm talking about? It's one of those coasters that has like dangly feet.
Yeah.
It has a couple of corkscrews on it, and I was really excited to do that because as a kid, I had seen a bunch of commercials for it, and they had like the Michael Keaton era Batmobile parked outside of it and shit, and it was
nice.
It was cool as hell. But I remember.
You lost a sandal?
No, I didn't lose the sandal. People would kick their sandals off and leave them on the platform. No, whenever we got to a corkscrew, I don't know what it was. It was like the G's made me black out.
Oh my!
And that was pretty fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, I've had 2 incidences on roller coasters. One of them, it was at Outlaw Run down there, and it was like, I don't know if it was October or when it was, but it was really cold. And I had like a North Face jacket on, and I had a pocket up, like a breast pocket. And I hadn't stepped up, but I had my GoPro in it, and I had my iPhone in it. And it was completely zipped up. And we were on, I'm pretty sure it was Outlaw Run. We went through one of the corkscrews or something, and it unzipped, and my GoPro flew out, and my phone flew out, and my girlfriend at the time actually grabbed my phone and saved my phone.
Jesus.
And
nice.
just like whoop, and she just like grabbed it, but the GoPro just shot straight down and just.
I thought you were joking whenever you said that. Was that Silver Dollar City ride?
Mm-hmm. Outlaw Run, yeah.
I don't think that one's there anymore, or they renamed it. But yeah, have you been on Powder Keg?
Yeah, that's the one where it gasses up with the hydraulics and zooms you.
Yeah, it's one of them. You're sitting still and it just launches you. I got my 5-year-old to go on that with me. My 7-year-old, too scared. My 5-year-old, he was all about it. And he actually,
Okay,
I couldn't believe he met the height. I couldn't believe he met the height requirement, but he wanted to go. But it was a weird thing. It was the first coaster we did for the day, and I was so scared for my son that like I didn't really enjoy it because I just like had my hands on him the whole time. I don't know. He was just so tiny. I was like, this isn't right. He shouldn't be on here. Yeah. And that's a pretty mean roller coaster for a 5-year-old. He did great though. He loved it. So.
And my other story is, I think it was Wildfire or it's Powder Keg. I think it was Wildfire, and we were in line. We were just about to get on, but they shut the ride down because a girl came back and she like got knocked out on the ride. She was doing something stupid, like I guess she had her phone out and was trying to like videotape stuff, and it whipped around, and she had a fucking cast on too. She had like previously healing up, right? And so she had her phone out, and she was like trying to do this, and I guess it went around something, and it whipped her, and she fucking knocked herself out with her cast.
That is awesome.
So they had to shut the damn ride down. Like, if I had a cast on, I'm probably not going to be getting on a roller coaster.
Yeah, or at least not.
That's a pretty good idea.
Not you know, if you're going to get on a roller coaster with a cast, maybe don't try to record it, or you know, just enjoy the ride, you know, as you should normally.
That's
obeying all the rules.
I feel like that would be so shitty. Like if I had a cast, I would just have to hold it like in front of me the whole time because I would be terrified.
Yeah,
that
you'd be
I'd
worried about
smack it on something and like cause myself a shitload of pain or fuck the cast up or something.
I know we've told like 19 roller coaster stories already, but I have another one. Whenever I was
one too.
Okay, I was on a roller coaster in, I believe it was another one of the Florida parks. There's so many of them. I don't even know at this point what's where, other than a couple of them. But I don't remember which one it was, but we were on it, and I had done it multiple times before. So, you know, once you've done it a couple times, you kind of have a basic idea of what's going on, obviously. And we get to a part where we're coming along, and all of a sudden the brakes just, like, I mean, we come to a stop pretty quick. And I like, as soon as it happened, I'm like, you normally don't stop here. Like, what is happening? And you know how, like, whenever you go up the hills and stuff, sometimes there'll be those lights that are, like, yellow, green, or red, or whatever. And all the lights turn to yellow. And over the intercom, it's like, attention, you know, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Please sit tight and everything. But the whole time they're, like, playing this message, you could hear another coaster coming. You know, I don't know if it was in front of us or behind us, but all you know is that you hear another coaster going. Oh, my God. That was... So I said before that was the most scared I've ever been, but that was pretty close. I mean, when you're stopped and you know you're in a spot you're not supposed to stop, and you can hear another one coming or going or who knows what, it was not fun. We ended up having to sit there for like 10-15 minutes while they figured out whatever it was and then got us back to the station. Luckily it wasn't like an upside down spot or anything, but yeah.
Jesus. The first roller coaster experience that I can even remember was with my dad. My dad took me to Worlds of Fun, And the very first ride that we got there at the very beginning of the day. There were no lines or anything yet. And
the best time.
It's awesome. When we queued up for, I don't know if you guys ever rode this because it didn't last. It went away shortly. It just wasn't there for much of our lives. It was the Zambezi Zinger.
Where was this at?
It was at Worlds of Fun.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't go there much until I was older.
The Zambezi Zinger was like a little. I mean, it was kind of like a mini roller coaster, basically. Like, it wasn't like a kid's coaster, but it was
tinier.
mild. It was tinier, yeah. And it was mild enough that it didn't have any restraints. There was no lap bar. There's no seat belt. What? Yeah. It had instead of a giant hill that you went up to get height, you went in this like tight coil that went up and up and up until you got to the first drop. And I remember being as a kid and that being my first roller coaster, I was like pants shittingly terrified because there's no fucking seatbelt on this thing. And I'm like, we're going up and I'm panicking and like I'm crying and like just like completely freaked out. And we go down the coaster and they had like log flume style carts. So it wasn't like you sat side by side, you sat in a line. And I'm sitting like on my dad's lap, and he's like got his fucking arms around me, so nothing's gonna happen to me. Of course,
so sketchy still though.
I know it, but and I was fine, of course. And like I get off, and I'm still dealing with the trauma, and I'm like just crying and freaked out. And they're like, "Do you want to? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I want to do it again."
Overwhelmingly happy.
I was terrified. I was like, I couldn't believe that I wasn't dead, and then that was enough to convince me that I would be safe forever on roller coasters.
If you made it through that one, you'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
basically,
kind of
it was
thing.
like the scariest one I could have done as a kid. Your first time on roller coasters having no thing to hold you into the car.
Right. Yeah. That reminds me of the American Plunge. It's a log flume. Obviously, it's just a log, and there's a little bit of a ride before that, but then you just go into the water. But it's another one that doesn't have restraints. You're just in a log, and there's like foam seats with like little humps to separate the passengers. And there's bars to hang on to, but when you go down that thing, man, you come out of it a little bit. It's a little sketchy. Like if you don't hold on, there's a good chance you might pop out, or at least it feels like you will.
Well, I hate to end all the roller coaster, the hot talk about theme parks.
We filled about 25 minutes with
So
it.
it's probably for the best now. Yeah.
We had a listener question about: have we played and what were our thoughts on an older game called Katamari
Damacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've played that. I have played that fucking game.
I have played that as well.
Yeah.
I won't say that I played the fuck out of it, but I do remember playing it and enjoying it. But when did that? Was that the PS2?
Yeah.
So I feel like that. I feel like that was like when I was going through my Xbox transition. So I wasn't quite on the Katamari. I remember when the first couple times I like heard about it, I was like, "What is this? This looks dumb. I just want to shoot people on my Xbox, you know." And then it's one of those games that you can't help but play it and be like, "Oh, this is pretty sweet."
I rolled all the things. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
I rolled a lot of the things.
I rolled many of the things. I made a few stars.
Have you guys played Donut Country?
Yes, I have.
That was one that I think it was just on Game Pass, and then I think it's rotated out now. But regardless, I played it on PC quite a few months back, and similar concept, except for it's a hole. So you move your little itty bitty hole, and you get little itty bitty things to fall in the hole, and every time you do that, it gets a little bit bigger.
Oh,
and
it's bigger.
thing,
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. It was enjoyable.
That game has good writing too. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, it's one of those just really weird, off the cuff like madness.
Very charming.
Yeah, simple art design.
Mm.
I liked it.
Great.
Good fun. Try that out,
many
Katamari Damacy enjoyers.
How many Katamari Damacy games are there?
7. I have no idea.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
There's a
honestly thought
bunch.
there was one to be so. Can you play those anywhere now? Like, modern.
Yeah, they're on
Like
the
Steam or
there's
anything?
one on the Switch. They just did a re-release of the first one, I think, and that one's
Really?
on the Switch. It's on like everything.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Okay, and
There's
Frank, how many of those
14.
can I get on the N-Gage?
None, because that's a piece of shit taco phone that you wasted.
Listen. I upgraded the battery, okay? I don't want to hear it.
Ooh. Getting all the crates and all the letters on the old Tony Hawks there.
I was about to say, how does that Tony Hawk compare to the new Tony Hawk demo?
That's yeah. So yeah, actually, surprisingly, I think that the demo for the new the 1 and 2 remaster, which is only warehouse, and I think it's a what is it, 120 seconds or 200 seconds or 2 minutes? It's short.
Those games always had 2-minute time limits.
Yeah, so it must be 2 minutes. It's you can't get. It's just a demo, so I'm trying not to be too hard on it. But you can't get the skate decks, you can't get the skate tapes, you can't get the tapes and the skate letters. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm drunk. You can't get like the high score tapes or anything like that. It's just 2 minutes in the warehouse. I feel like it's super easier to land tricks. I put a clip of me landing a trick on Twitter and made that statement, and a lot of the replies didn't really seem to agree with me. But you know how you start up high, you go down the ramp, there's the full half pipe, and the box above it. You go past that, and then there's like a taxi cab, but that whole back wall has a ramp on it, and you can grind all the way across, right? Like
Yeah.
it literally from one wall to the other wall, there's a ramp that you can grind. And I think that was like a special, maybe not a hidden tape, but there's like if you do the whole thing, you get like a huge amount of points for doing that, because there's like specific gaps in the game and stuff like that. So obviously it's not a gap, but it's something like that. I remember that being pretty hard in the original to be able to balance a grind, when the meter pops up and you have to go back and forth. In the new one, I can like start the grind on this side, grind all the way around. I remember it comes out like a little peninsula and then goes back, and then you go to the wall, and then I can like skip off the wall, get back on, and grind all the way back down and land it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this can't, it's maybe they got the meter settings wrong or something. I don't know. I feel like it's easier to land tricks, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of people that replied to me, like I said, that they say that it seems really, really close to the first one, but
to me, that sounds like absolute garbage, and also why it's absolute garbage is because you can't play it with this controller. So I'm gonna have to say hard pass.
Hard pass.
Oh no, you can play it with that
I'm sure
controller.
you can get an
dude.
adapter.
Just ask. What's his name? What's the guy that does all the games with? You can't show that.
That's
FBI.
contraband.
Open up.
Is it?
Yeah. What's the name of the guy that he'll get on like Rainbow Six and use like a Guitar Hero controller?
Oh yeah.
Mr. Homeless Gamer, Mr. Homeless, something like that. Dude, he's amazing. If you guys haven't watched him, you guys need to check him out. He'll find the most obscure controller and he'll make it work with the game, and then he'll challenge himself. There was one thing he did where I forget, in Rainbow Six, not Vegas, whatever the new Rainbow Six is. Jesus, why can't I?
Siege.
There you go, Siege. What is it? 6 people on a team? 8 people on a team?
It's five, I think.
Whatever it is, yeah. He got into a ranked match and controlled all 5. He controlled the whole team at once on one keyboard and mouse. He just stuff like that, he'll take a Dreamcast controller or a Guitar Hero controller and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. So I beg to differ, Frank. There's a way you can make it happen. Don't just throw it under the bus like that.
I don't know. They just remade that game. This is the third time they've remade it.
I know,
of course
yeah.
I won't play it, but I mean, it's like Hollywood. Stop remaking the games and stop re-releasing them and porting them on the Switch or the PS3 or the Xbox.
Right.
New content, buddies. New content. Speaking of new content.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Segue.
Speaking of new content. Did any of you guys pick up Microsoft Flight Simulator? No.
Oh, hell
No.
no.
How many
I
gigs
can't
is
fly a
it?
plane.
How many terabytes is it?
It's like 90 or 120 gigabytes.
Honestly, that's not bad. That's like smaller than Warzone.
I've been enjoying all of the like Twitter posts about the mangled geometry that's present in it. Like
I haven't seen any of it.
Apparently, there's this like a giant, massive obelisk in Melbourne, Australia. That is like that's not supposed to be there. It's like there's just an error. I think it's in. If you check Bing Maps, it looks the same way. It's like somebody probably just listed the height of the building wrong. Said like, what do you got, Frank?
Yeah. No. So that's part of the cool part about it is you stream the world map.
I was gonna say, is that how that works?
And so it's like anything that's on like Bing Maps or whatever that you can see, not like your classified government like websites, whatever the satellites pick up, is how they populate like the areas and stuff. And it looks really pretty. Like Sedona, Arizona is where you do your training stuff. And I forget whenever I actually did the actual plane flights, it looks really pretty and really good. There were some flaws with it on launch day though.
I actually got a message from one of my buddies today, and he said he showed a screenshot, and he was like flying over my neighborhood in Microsoft Flight Simulator. He's like, I'm going to try to land in my backyard. I never saw his follow-up to that. I don't know if he did it successfully or not, but it made me like, man, I need to buy that game. So my question is, though, how often do those maps update? And when that happens, is it going to be... Are they going to, surely they're going to have some sort of a forced update for the game. It's not just going to, you know what I mean? Like...
No, they stream the maps.
So that's not part of the 100 gigs or whatever. I
don't exactly know how it works because sometimes people are saying that it takes 2 to 3 minutes to upload. All right, but let's go over the controversy of launch day.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this.
Whenever the game took off, as you were. So I downloaded and it was like 500 megabytes to get the installer. I'm like, well, that's not bad. Let's see how the rest of this goes. So you launch it, and then it downloads all the game files, a whole 90 gigabytes, like in the game launcher window. And a lot of people were getting download errors and stuff like that. So you had to keep it open. I had to keep it open for an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes to download, which really wasn't that bad for 90 gigabytes.
Yeah, except if you're me.
Had like that's what you have to buy the physical hard copy. You got to buy all 10 discs.
Joey would have to buy a dedicated PC for that.
Yeah.
To install and download and never touch.
And a separate internet connection.
Yeah.
And basically it would hang and have issues for people. My install is flawless, but so they're doing a thing though on Steam that if you got it through Steam, they're not counting, because how many hours do you get to play a game on Steam before you can return it?
It's not much, like 8 at the not even that. It can't be that, like 2. I don't know.
I think it's like 2. It's pretty low.
So Steam is actually not counting the download time of gameplay to return it if you had issues with it. Because it's so big and it took so long. So many people had errors. I didn't have issues, but it's very beautiful. It's very pretty. It's really realistic. It's a flight sim. It's not a flying game. It's a flight sim, and a lot of people need to understand that. I had no graphics issues with it at all. It was amazing. But it's fun. I can't wait to crank out my flight sticks and give it a proper go.
Yeah, that sounds intense, man. Actually,
dope. Yeah.
I don't mean to immediately change the subject, and we can get back to flight sim if you want. But you were talking about how much time to play before you can get a Steam refund and all that stuff. I actually purchased Smash Brothers, the new Smash Bros. For Switch. And I never really played any of the other Smash games, and I know I'm probably going to get roasted by people that are listening. But it was just never really my thing. But I thought, it was one of those like, oh, I'll get this, and then if I have people over, it might be something fun to do as a group or whatever. And I purchased it, and I played like less than 15 minutes of it, and I was just like, I should not have spent $60 on this, And so I just called Nintendo support and basically begged my way to get a refund. And I guess they usually don't give refunds at all on digital purchases. And luckily, I had only played it for the little bit of time that I did. And they were like, "Well, why do you?" Well, and I'm like, I don't like it. Like, I'm not gonna play this, And they were like, "Okay, well, just so you know, like, we normally never do this, but we're gonna give you a refund." So. I felt like I hacked Nintendo. I got my refund from Nintendo. So
pays to have a million followers on YouTube.
No. I just called the support on my regular number. I didn't, unless they linked my stuff. They knew. That's my privilege. Okay, all right. Now I know.
This fucking blue check verified motherfucker is trying to pull one over on us.
Speaking of privilege.
Just give it to him.
Speaking of privilege, should we talk about the game that we are going to be checking out?
Oh, yeah.
Due to the privilege?
Well, yeah, later this evening. That only applies to you if you can go back in time and hear this when we're recording it.
Yes.
We're going to be playing... We're trying out GTFO on Steam. Joy was able to get in touch with the devs, and they provided us with keys very generously. And if you don't know anything about GTFO, it's a 4-player co-op online survival stealth game, basically.
I'm so excited to try it.
It's very horror centric. It's very you need to sneak as much as you can, or you're gonna get fucked all the way.
And see, I'm worried about that because I am not a stealth game player, man.
No, it's what was the disclaimer that they put in the email that they sent you?
The email they sent, I wish I had it pulled up right now. Here, let me find it. So, also, they sent me 4 codes. So, we're on the lookout for a 4th friend. One lucky person we're going to take under our wing. You're going to be our best friend.
We only know each other.
And we're going to fly you to Missouri. And so here it is. Please remember, GTFO is intentionally hard. Always play at least 3 players together. Move as a unit, slowly and methodically, relying on melee kills and using firearms only when absolutely necessary. Maintain constant 360-degree threat awareness. Don't get distracted by any one thing, and always have an exit strategy for every situation you walk into. GTFO will not hold your hand, or even give you a waypoint to move towards. Instead, you have to look in computer terminals and on signs in the surroundings to find your way. Also, enemies will not drop resources. You have to find resources in the surroundings, and they're very hard to come by. And I see that disclaimer, and I'm like, damn, what do we get ourselves into here, But I kind of like that. I think I mentioned on a previous podcast, I really, really enjoyed the Gears of War 4 campaign, and then I get to the boss fight of the game, the end all to the entire storyline that you just played through and everything, and I'm playing it on the normal difficulty. It's not like I was playing through it on easy, hold your hand mode or anything, and I'm sitting here fighting this boss, or trying to figure out how to take it out, and at first I couldn't figure it out, and then it just pops up, and it's like, shoot the blah, 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 blah to take out the boss, and I'm like, why would you... It took me right out of it. I was like, that's the fun, is figuring it out. I don't want you to tell me how to do it, It totally took me by surprise. So I'm kind of glad.
I've played maybe 15 or 20 minutes of GTFO so far just today, just to try to get my head around it, so that we're not going in totally blind.
Right.
And there's definitely going to be some learning going on, because you do need to use computer terminals if you want to navigate. If you want to know where a certain item is, you can pull up a list. You can have the facility ping the items that are in your area, and then you can have that item ping you specifically, so you have an idea of where it is. But it's you really got to fucking figure it out.
Is it wave? Isn't it wave based, kind of like a zombies game or something? No. Okay.
No, it's no. You're moving from point A to point B. It's you're trying to get through.
Okay.
It feels like a derelict spaceship, kind of some Event Horizon type shit.
Like Dead Space.
Yeah.
And I think I remember after you first mentioning it, and I researched it, that is it the maps or not the maps, but the loot? Something is randomly generated, one or the other, but I don't think both.
I'm not totally certain. There's not a looting aspect as far as I'm aware. I mean, there is some like.
Okay. Yeah, I know it said that
when you
the
find lockers,
enemies don't drop it.
When you find lockers with like resources in them and stuff, that seems to change. But as far as I could tell, the layouts seem to be the same. But I know that there's an element of randomization to it. I just don't know what it is.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was.
But yeah, I'm excited to just have like a really big challenge to work towards together. I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah,
and then if we
I
get
agree.
pissed off, we just go play Sea of Thieves, and then get pissed off at each other.
Speaking of Sea of Thieves, I've been having a lot of fun with Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
There's a new
I'm really enjoying
coming?
it. Yeah, the what's it called? Something, summer something? No.
We have to decide if we're gonna blow $25 on a pink ship.
I think I'm down. I'm gonna do that.
I'm down. I'm
down
up for
to do
it.
it. Yeah. Frank was just quiet when we were looking through all the customization options that night. I think his blood was boiling just hearing us talking about it. But Andrew and I really want a pink ship. And if you guys enjoy pink ship pirate, extravaganzas, you should definitely check us out on Twitch. Well, we stream here on the YouTube channel too. If you're watching on the Gravy Wheels YouTube channel, well, a lot of times what we'll do is I'll stream on my personal Twitch channel, and then like Andrew will stream on the Gravy Wheels podcast Twitch channel. Frank will stream on the YouTube Gravy Wheels podcast channel.
Yeah. So what you're gonna want is you're gonna want to buy another monitor if you have two, or two if you have one,
or 7.
And you're gonna want to have all of our streams up at the same time. Yep. And just turn all of those volumes all the way up. It's not going to cause any problems. It's going to be perfectly
no ad blocker.
Just trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your Jeff Bezos.
Your neighbors will thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
We'll throw good times in your honor.
We've had some good pirating adventures so far. I think there's many more to come.
Yeah.
And then I want to keep doing Sea of Thieves, but we also need to get Joey onboarded on the Remnant because it's fun as hell too. And speaking of like boss battles where you just get like owned, I think did we die like 6 or 7 times?
At least on that one on the Shroud,
Remnant?
yeah. Yeah, there was one boss that we were having some issues with. Because not only are bosses in Remnant just hard, I mean the whole game is designed to be fucking difficult. But the bosses often have modifiers attached to them that are like random. So
we got a bad roll.
We got a particularly bad modifier on this one boss that was, it basically just like, one of his things was that he would track you and make these explosions happen like around you. So unless you were sprinting, you were going to get hit, and then you would just sort of get comboed into the rest of the explosions, and it sucked.
Damn.
And the random mod that he happened to get was one that causes him to spawn more explosions randomly.
Oh my god.
So it was just like, it was like nom. It was fucking impossible. We got it eventually though. It was a great moment of triumph.
Gears of War Horde mode works kind of like that, where I think every 10 levels there's a boss fight, and it would be just one of the bosses, but there wasn't like a multiplayer or anything. So that sounds pretty interesting. With my Epic though, with my Epic launcher, I have this issue where my internet's trash, so a lot of times I don't download during the day, like if I need my internet, and then when I go to sleep, if I remember, I resume the the download. But a lot of times I'll come up here after I resume the download overnight, and it'll I always get download errors or install errors or whatever with the Epic Game Launcher. I don't know if anybody else gets those or if it's just me, but I really don't have any problems with Steam or anything else. But for some reason with Epic, I do get those errors from time to time. So long story short, Remnant is not installed yet, but I've been trying. Because I already have GTFO installed, and we got codes today, so I've been trying.
It's a young platform. There are some quirks to it, like trying to find DLC on the store is kind of a pain in the ass. Even though the way that they ultimately organize it makes sense, like you go to the games page instead, and then it's all there. It's just
not the worst for sure.
We're just all used to the way Steam does shit now.
Right. Yep.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thanks, Gaben.
Gaben Newell, the very rich man.
One thing that I thought was cool, which I guess a lot of games have this incorporated, is since I've got all this Razer crap, I've got Chroma installed through Synapse or whatever the hell's, and I just clicked a bunch of check marks yesterday or the day before or something, not really knowing what I was doing. And I guess on some games they have all the lighting effects are set up for that game specifically, and so every damn time I would die in that boss battle. It's kind of cool, but it made me really frustrated. Is every time like you're taking in like heavy damage and you die, you're sitting there waiting to be revived. If you can be revived, everything just blinks like red, like, and it added to the intensity and the frustration. And I think that's really cool. Although I do have some issues with Synapse with the Razer software to get everything going, because like every time I have to like modify the stuff on this, I have to like reboot my computer, and then sometimes it'll let me edit it while I'm in the game, sometimes it won't, and it's just a big old hassle. But I thought that was really cool for a minute, and I'm pretty sure a lot of games are gonna be like, every time in Sea of Thieves that I eat a banana the wrong way, like I want it to just flash bright yellow.
You want to have a Cronch alarm.
Yeah, a Cronch alarm. Cronch.
I played through Ruiner. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that game. I briefly owned a Razer Blade laptop for like a week, and I played through Ruiner on that, and it had really cool chroma effects. It was like anytime you would heal, it would like one line of keys would turn white, and then a green effect would like spread out from that. Every time your health got too low, it would like turn red. It was I mean, when it's implemented well, it's really cool.
Yeah. I like the splash mode on the chroma keys, where if you hit S, it just makes like a ripple effect go across the whole. Yeah. That's what I usually leave mine on.
Let's party.
Anybody get any new hardware lately?
I've been I have a problem.
What is that garbage? It's a vertical mouse.
No.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Joystick.
Jesus.
Yes. Let me explain something about myself, though. I don't know if you guys actually know this about me, but anytime what?
What'd you say?
You have an issue.
I do have an issue. Anytime I buy anything that is something that I plan to use a lot, like a laptop, mouse, headphones, whatever, I end up finding myself stuck in this process of infinitely getting the thing, like doing a shitload of research. I love doing product research because I'm broken inside. Commerce has ruined me. So I do a shitload of research, find the thing I want, buy it, use it for 2 days, realize there's something wrong with it, and return it. And then I have to do that 40 more times. So, like, for instance, when I got a pair of true wireless earbuds back when the Powerbeats Pro came out, I used those for, 4 days, 5 days or something, and I was like, nope, not right. Traded those for something else. I can't even remember. Anywho, I think I did that a total of 8 times. You gotta exploit return policies, y'all. Return policies are there to...
I mean, they're there
to
why
help
not?
you, the consumer.
They're like, fucking Andrew's here again. God damn it.
Yeah, people at Best Buy hate me.
They're like, I'm taking break. You fucking deal with them.
That also explains why I had a Razer Blade for about 3 days.
I was gonna ask what was the
Yeah, I traded that. I got this laptop that I have now instead because it came with more RAM, more storage, and was cheaper.
And it
sounds like
it was
let's be honest,
exactly the same way too.
That's the call sign of any Razer product. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, but those blades are really nice. They have like that cool aluminum.
Oh, they're
like
sick. Yeah, but there's if Corsair or Logitech doesn't do it better as far as a keyboard or a mouse goes, and then what do I have? Oh, I can't remember, but I have a laptop that basically does everything the Razer Blade does, but does it better and is cheaper because it's not a Razer.
But so right now I'm in the middle of one of these phases where I have to return the same thing 50,000 times.
Hell yeah.
And so at this exact moment, I started with a Logitech MX vertical mouse because I was worried about wrist strain. And then I realized, God damn, this thing's fucking hard to use to play games. So that was no good. Then I took that back, exchanged it for a Razer Rat 8 Plus, which is basically the most ludicrous mouse a human can buy.
Oh, you already returned that?
I returned that today.
Oh my
And that way you
God,
sent? Didn't you send pictures of that? You sent pictures of that like today, didn't you?
Maybe it was probably yesterday.
You already got rid of the Razer Rat.
No, right now I have the
Death Adder.
Razer Death Adder V2.
I love the Death Adder, man. Death Adder, I'm a huge fan of. Right now, I'm rocking the G900. It's pretty nice, but the Death Adder.
See, I really wanted one of those because I want one of those fucking scroll wheels, man.
Yeah, because you can click the little button and make it the free roam one or whatever.
Turn it into a fidget spinner.
Essentially.
Any mouse gets my vote now if it has DPI up and down buttons on it.
Oh yeah.
If I can change that instantly, like it totally fixes having to get into the menu on any game and fucking with mouse sensitivity and shit, and that is like a game changer. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. See, I fell down a rabbit hole the other day though about playing on low DPI and high sensitivity versus playing on low sensitivity and high DPI. And
oh my god,
doing I don't know why. Like I suck. I'm never gonna be like that.
No matter how much you mess with the settings.
Yeah. So actually, what you need to do is you need to buy. Like,
what you need to do is just click heads. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
I'm the opposite. I'll always just go into my settings and change the mouse sensitivity, and the time I accidentally hit my DPI buttons, I feel like it's such a drastic change back or forth. You know what I mean? Like one way or the other.
Shut them off.
I never use. I think does it broadcast a color? I think it's the Death Adder that has a color based on your DPI setting. Is it?
You can change it. I think.
One of them. Maybe it was the last mouse I had. Based on whatever DPI setting, it would be like yellow or red or green or orange or whatever. And if I would. Yeah, I would look and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I accidentally hit my button. That's why it feels weird. But yeah, I always change it in game. I don't know why.
It's fine. Do whatever works, baby.
Do what you do.
I think it works for me because sometimes we're playing a new game or a different game that I've never played before, and like it's online or something, and I just can't fucking go into the menu and start fucking with shit.
Yeah, it's
you don't want to have people wait on you.
The ease of finding it, I guess. Obviously, it's right there, one click away.
And then you can customize them with all your Razer stuff. You can customize the DPI levels, and I think you can with the Logitechs and the Corsairs too.
This episode brought to you by Razer.
That's one question I get a lot when I'm streaming is like, what DPI settings do you use? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I have no idea.
Something, I don't know.
Who pays attention to that shit?
Between 0 and like 4,000, who cares?
Right.
Now that we killed that horse.
Now that we fucked that pig.
Do any of you guys want to make an announcement about somebody announcing that they're going to make an announcement?
Oh, let's announce the announcement that the announcement happened that the new Call of Duty is now officially Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which has been the rumor, leaked information or whatever for a few months now. It's been a real weird year because normally we find out what the new COD is going to be in like May, and that didn't happen this year, most likely because of COVID, but it's been a strange year. They've officially announced that that's the name of the game and that we have a reveal trailer happening the 26th, which I would normally say is probably just going to be a campaign thing, and then they might tease multiplayer or zombies or battle royale or whatever at the end and more information to come. But it's almost September, so maybe on the 26th we'll just get like a 30-minute live stream of everything that you want to know, considering the game comes out, what, 2 months? Doesn't it come out? I think it's October. That's when the last one dropped. The last one dropped in October, I believe. So if it's an October release, I mean, it wouldn't really be too far-fetched to just get an absolute insane amount of information dumped on the 26th. And, as much as Call of Duty is a meme to just kind of hate on it and everything, I am excited. I really did enjoy... I played a decent amount of Warzone and Modern Warfare multiplayer on PC, which was the last COD, but the one before that was Black Ops 4, and I enjoyed that one even more. I prestige mastered that game. I unlocked Dark Matter camo, so as of recent, normally I would say I'm a bigger Modern Warfare fan, as far as like Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, all that stuff, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, but I enjoyed Black Ops 4 more than Modern Warfare, I think, so I'm excited to see what Cold War is going to be all about.
I know that you're not a true fan, though, because you don't call it blops.
Okay, I do call it blops from time to time. Just you caught me this time not calling it blops.
All right, so here's another thing about this game and the name and the release and shit. We've known for a while what the name of the fucking game is. A long while. Mainly, there was a leak because of a fucking bag of chips.
Yeah, the bag. Well, that was recent. I mean, for a few months or more, people have been saying that it's probably Cold War. But I think that the chips really. I think that was like a month ago. It was like a month ago-ish.
Thank you, Doritos, and your horrible OPSEC. Ugh.
Well, it's like yesterday. I was in a gas station, and they've got the Infinite, the Halo Infinite monster cans for double XP. They've got them. They're stocked in the gas stations right now, and it's it's delayed. It's just kind of funny. I saw it, and I was like, it's not even coming out. I hope these XP codes last that long.
I love, like, video game leaks now are so weird because they're leaked by, like, bags of chips or, like, razors for men.
Or some, like, obscure European game website that no one's ever heard of.
Or Walmart lists it accidentally, like, 2 years before it's supposed to fucking come out anyways.
How do they... The listing on the websites and shit is ridiculous. That there's so many leaks have been based on companies fucking up and listing shit early. Or listing, like, stuff that, like, what? You dum-dums. You big dum-dums.
I don't see how that happens. Especially a company as big as, like, Amazon.
Can I tell you a story about how I leaked something and got one of my friends fired from their job?
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is a good one.
So, have I told you this story, Frank?
Yes.
You told us a little bit of it. And ever since then, I'm like careful. I mean, I still talk to you guys as normal, but every once in a while, I'm like, man, should I tell Andrew? I don't know. Maybe he's gonna put it on 4chan. Shit.
No, I was a younger, more foolish man. But I did the one thing that was true about me then, and is still true about me, is that I fucking love fighting games. And if you remember back to, like, the 2000s, there was a pretty big fucking drought before Street Fighter 4 came out. There was just, like, jack shit. There were no fighting games. And so I was really excited, and I saw that Capcom was coming out with a new Versus game. They were coming out with Tatsunoko versus Capcom, and it was going to be a Wii exclusive, which I was like, that's weird, but whatever. I'm excited. I love the Versus games. Marvel vs. Capcom is, like, my favorite series ever.
SNK versus Capcom.
Those games are great. So I was super, super hyped, and then I found out that it was Japan only, and it just made me so upset, so sad. And at the time, this is months later, I had a friend who used to work at a printing press that produced all kinds of different, like, magazines. And it just so happened that at the time they were producing Nintendo Power. And he texted me out of the blue because he knew that I was a fan. And he was like, hey, check this out. And it was an image of the cover and of the cover story, which was that Tatsunoko versus Capcom was coming stateside. And I was like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I'm really excited. I don't remember if I asked him if I could post those pictures or not. I don't remember, honestly. But I sent them to Kotaku as, like, a tip. And it all fucking backfired. They figured out that, like, he had done this. He ended up losing his job.
God.
He told me later, he was like, I was just gonna post those pictures when I came home from work anyways. So he was trying to alleviate me of guilt, but that's something that I've carried with me for about a decade. I still feel like shit about it.
But it's something that you probably did just out of, like, pure excitement, and that you were such a fan of that you weren't thinking about, like, oh, I'm going to get all the clout from, like, leaking this information. You were just, like, fucking excited to get it out there without even thinking about it.
That is 100% true. I was just, like, really excited to know this. And he said that at one point, though, there were, like, lawyers asking him. They were like, do you know this Andrew Ragtime pianist person?
No. Never heard of him.
Nah, don't know him. So that's how I accidentally ruined one of my friends' lives.
That's
Brian, I'm sorry.
He didn't have food for like 2 or 3 weeks.
That's so fucked.
You know,
he's gonna be our first guest on the podcast. That just to,
God,
so we can all apologize.
I've apologized to him many times, and I'll do it again.
I had something kind of similar, kind of not. Back in the day, before I knew, before I was making money on YouTube, before it was a profession, before it was the way I put, food on the table for my children, I was a big fan of the movie Hot Rod. And yeah, you remember the scene where they're like, I don't remember exactly, but they break out into song. They're all in the streets like singing. It's like some big like theatrical dancing and singing montage.
It like turns into
a riot. And it's like to me like the funniest scene in the fucking movie, because it's all just like this happy dance theatrical montage, and then it just turns into like people smashing windows and stealing TVs and shit, and it's just fucking hilarious. And for whatever reason, I just like took that scene and uploaded it to my YouTube channel, and then it was there, and I guess it was still viewable or whatever. And fast forward years later, and YouTube is now making me a paycheck, and that's how I'm paying my bills and everything. And I get a copyright claim from MGM Studios that says like, hey man, this is like our copyrighted material. This is our movie. You can't have this. Blah blah blah. Not only that, they gave me a strike. I lost monetization on my channel, like in one of the most like when my channel's like exploding. I'm getting like thousands of new subscribers. I'm earning money, right during like all the craziness of YouTube, and I lose partnership on my channel because I have a copyright strike from MGM Studios for uploading their copyrighted material from a movie with Andy Samberg, like just, and then my MCM, my network, basically who like manages my channel, who gives me a paycheck, they're basically just like, it's MGM Studios, bro. Like we can't really do anything for you. You kind of have to like email them and settle this yourself. So yeah, I don't remember how long it was. I think it was like a couple months. I couldn't make money on YouTube because I had a fucking copyright strike from MGM Studios, and I had to settle it with, and I just like, I was like honest with them. I just sent them an email. I was like, dude, I was like 15. I didn't know. I just thought it was a funny clip. I didn't know there was any like legal ramifications, and it ended up all getting worked out, obviously. But yeah. It was one of those things that I was just a fan of the movie. I thought it was a funny ass scene. I put it on YouTube, and then next thing I know, I'm in trouble for doing it.
No, you're a complete dirtbag. You stole their IP. You were a dirtbag.
I didn't steal anything. I guess that what happened is that maybe the ads, whenever I got monetized on YouTube, because when I uploaded it, I wasn't making money.
He's a scarf skin, boys.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you could hear that.
Yeah.
Extremely. So I guess whenever I got monetized, it probably just like monetized all the videos that I had uploaded retroactively, and so then that's whenever I got into the legal, issues. So yeah. But it worked out.
I was having this conversation with some people recently where when you're in your like mid to late teenage years, it's kind of weird because you're still a kid. You're not a full-grown adult yet. You don't have the rights associated with that, yada yada. You don't have the life experience, but you're still old enough to ruin your whole fucking life.
Yes. Yep.
So you're stuck in this really awkward spot where you can just make one really shitty decision, and now it's even easier to do that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Terrifying.
And even in our, in our time, it was like, it's kind of, it's that time of life where you're like, why are my parents so hard on me, and why are they so freaked out by every little thing? And then you get a little bit older and you're like, okay, I get it. Yeah, because it is such a fragile time of your life. And like you said, especially now, Jesus.
Yeah, your potential to ruin everything is like, you just really got it at your fingertips.
I feel sorry for kids these days. I can't imagine. Just, I don't know what I'm gonna do when my kids are old enough to like have Twitter accounts and stuff. I'm just gonna be like, no, nothing.
Yeah.
You can't have any of it. No Facebook. No Twitter. Give me your phone. All the parental locks are on.
You're Amish now. That's what you believe in.
I may as well. People think, because of the beard that I am anyways, so I might as well go that route.
Yeah, just lean into it. Well, you don't have to be, but your kids do.
There you go. Yeah.
Raise them Amish.
As long as they do.
Save on electricity. It's great. Churn
That's
butter.
true. I love fresh
Raising
churned
some
butter.
barns.
Yes. We already got the chickens. We're on the way.
Yeah, there you go. You get butter from chickens, no problem. You
Yeah.
guys ready to wrap it up?
No.
Wrap it up, B? No, not really. Pop copy?
No.
Who's got the word? Who's the bird? And also, big shout out to Javelin. Thank you for the music. Big shout out to Tyler. Big shout out to Razor.
Did we already mention Tyler launched he launched like a shop, I think, with his art and stuff?
Oh, I don't think
Some
we did.
t-shirts and stickers, maybe?
Yeah, we did.
I think we did, yeah. On Teespring. Maybe maybe we'll put that in the comment, in the top comment. If we
For that
remember.
description.
Yeah. Or that, yeah. One of the things.
We got options.
Frank, before we get off, why don't you show off your new posters?
Oh. No.
Asked and answered.
No.
Well,
and so
all right.
Those are the two on the
Yes.
show right now.
Got some
Okay.
Arnold.
I've got
Did you go to
another-
Hastings? Get those?
Yeah, I went to Hastings.
Yeah.
Me and Marty McFly hopped in the DeLorean and we went back to when Hastings were a thing.
You, if you pan over a little bit further, he's got a poster for
Oh, no,
Junior.
no. Oh yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, yes.
A poster
Yeah,
for Junior. One for Raw Deal. One for the 6th day. End of days.
Yeah.
You'll
No,
get
I
it.
was really happy with that company out of Texas that got me these, except for they kind of fudged up on a lot of the posters.
Have you ever looked at Displate?
I'm happy with them, except I'm not.
Yeah, except for fuck 'em.
Yeah.
Have you ever checked out Displate?
No.
Displate.
Another non-sponsor of the podcast. What do they do?
Yeah. So, funny thing is that I got a hold of them because I saw their stuff. I do this a lot. I'm going to be honest with you guys right now because I've had a couple. I see stuff on the internet I want, and I reach out, and I'm like, I'm going to buy this, but if you're cool with it, maybe you just give it to me for free, and then I'll like put something on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wink, wink, hint, hint. Check out the blue check mark. You know what I'm saying? So, one of these companies was Displate, and basically it's just posters, but they print on metal, and then they ship with magnets that are adhesive backed, and so you just put a magnet on the back of the display, you put a magnet on the wall, and you stick it up. And their whole pitch is like, we save 750,000 trees a day, and blah 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 blah, and saving the environment and all that.
What about all the robots you had to smelt?
Listen,
Or
listen,
all
the 12-year-old
the
Indonesian children. Listen, they need work.
No one talks about all the robot fatalities.
I've actually got one right here. Hold up.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool because instead of using push pins or ticky tacky, you could actually just mount up all the magnets and then quickly swap them out.
That's Dr. Ian Malcolm and Dr. Grant, and it says, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
I don't know what that's from. What's that from?
Shut up. Yes, you do.
What's that from?
You know what that's from, Frank.
It's apparently about a movie about going to the bathroom.
Oh, that's right. That's the Wilford Brimley movie, right?
Yeah, Cocoon too. Gotta pee.
Where they had to pee all the time because they're diabetic.
Number one Beth's Michael Crichton.
Soon to be a moving picture.
Written by Jurassic Park.
It's not a talkie. What did that say?
I thought that was by Tom Clancy.
Is it okay that have we gotten to the point where I can just abruptly leave the podcast?
I do it every time. Ooh.
Look at this one, dude.
Look at him go.
What is your infatuation with Jurassic Park?
I don't know, dude. I'm like a fucking child.
Do you have a...
Here's one for you, Andrew. Look at the back.
Oh.
Oh.
I remember that game.
Isn't that one of them fighter games where you punch the people?
Uh-huh.
Anyways, we've derailed the podcast at this point. What were we talking about?
Now we're just showing off shit that we have.
I love show and tell, though. It's so fun. We were talking about Displate. Displate's fun, man. You should look into Displate.
While we're on this topic, I got one thing before we finish. Amazon should have a thing where between like 9 p.m. and like 4 in the morning, you have to solve math problems before you can purchase something.
Yeah.
100%.
It's like
and Facebook ads.
You need like a sober version of CAPTCHA.
Yes.
How does that even work?
I drunk bought a bunch of stuff a few weeks ago, and this showed up, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I had to think about it. I'm like, why do I have first off, I hate flat bills. Like, why did I buy a Happy Gilmore hat? Like, there's...
Dude, stuff shows up to my house probably once a month, and I'm like, nope, don't remember ordering that. Must have been a fun night.
It's past you buying a surprise for future you.
I'm okay with that, to be honest.
It's like
treating yourself.
It's like birthday presents once a week. Yeah.
All right, somebody go out. Somebody pick a word here. We're still doing this. No.
It's not even his turn.
It's no one's turn. We've destroyed the order.
Yeah, the order's been gone. Remember when we used to do ad reads? We don't do ad reads anymore. It's all
fucking fake ad reads. Nobody wants to put their name on us.
Don't let anyone in on the secret.
Oh, my bad. I just broke the wall, didn't I? Shit.
You pretend to have ad reads so other people think that.
So then we get the real ad reads,
and then they have to pay, and then you can say, I don't know, the caveman fire people paid me more than this, and then
the caveman lawyers.
No.
I'm bringing that back.
The word is ending.